Jimmy Thang from Maximum PC here at E3 2015. I'm here at Oculus's booth speaking with Teen. And Teen, you're one of the developers behind VR Sports Challenge. Can you tell us a little bit about that VR title?
Yeah, VR Sports Challenge is the sports game that you want in VR. It's football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. What we're showing here at E3 is the hockey game. And in hockey, you are the goalkeeper. You step in the shoes of an elite pro athlete with 2 minutes to go and down a man with a lead, and everybody in the arena and everybody in your team counting on you. Shots are flying at you fast and furious. You're facing anywhere between 25 and 35 shots in a span of just about 4 minutes or so. And the controls are simple and accessible and fun.
Yeah, I got to try it out earlier today. Well, just now, recently. I played a hockey game.
Yeah.
You know, you play as the goalie, and so just to, can you sort of explain how that portion of the game works?
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, we want it to be really accessible. So what we're doing is basically just putting you in those shoes and testing your most simple and basic. The most simple and basic input in VR is, can you look at something? How well can you look at something? And so while you're playing, this puck is being passed around. So you're looking, you're following it, you're moving, waiting for who's going to shoot it. And when the shot finally comes at you, you've got two inputs. Either the left, is it coming to the left side? If it is, then you press the left trigger or left bumper. If it's coming to the right side, you press the right trigger or the right bumper, and you make the save. But it's a question of testing how well you're looking at something and how fast you can react. And of course, that ramps up over time. The more saves you get and make, and better you get.
Yeah, I also like the fact that you guys incorporated the hockey mask to add that extra layer of immersion. I mean, you're wearing a mask anyways, right?
Exactly.
So why not turn something that is a weakness into a strength, right?
That's exactly right. Like, that's something that we found that when you strap into the Oculus, you put it on, and the current generation, the one right now, it feels very much like putting on a basketball hat, or baseball cap. And you put it on, and there's something about the weight that matches exactly with our game, where you're wearing a goalkeeper mask. Not everybody's worn a goalkeeper mask in their life, but everybody's put something on their head and worn a mask, and the weight just makes you, I think, that much more immersed. It's not very heavy, but it's there. I think the other testament to VR in general is, I was always very concerned when we first put in the mask, because it's superimposed over your view, and I was just concerned that it would get in the way of gameplay. And I'd say, I've seen a lot of people play it now. I'd say about 40% of the people, after I asked them, did the mask bother you? I think about 40% didn't even realize there was a mask there, and I think that's a testament to virtual reality and just how good it feels and how real it feels.
Yep. And then the other sports which you guys aren't showing today, basketball, football, and what was the other one?
And basketball, football, and baseball.
Okay. And then can you sort of briefly, what positions are you playing in those sports?
I'm not sure if we're ready to talk about them right now.
Okay.
But they're, in general, in Oculus Sports, what we're doing is we're boiling down those kind of backyard moments that you kind of dream about. Like, there's 2 minutes left to go in a hockey game and the game's on the line. You're fighting for that last second shot in basketball. 2-minute drill in football, driving the team down the field, to win the game. Like, all those kind of moments, we're looking at those and trying to take them and put them in a VR experience, put you in the shoes of that elite sports athlete, condense down the gameplay into something that's fun. It's not a simulator in a sense that, like the modern day sports games right now, where they're trying to be more and more realistic.
It's more arcade-like, right?
It's more arcadey. It's simulation if you look at around, because you are in hockey, you are the goalie, and there's 17,500 people with their eyes on you, expecting you to save the next shot. And we want that experience, because there's only 30 NHL goalies in the world right now that get that experience. So you're going to be the 31st in our game.
Yeah, I certainly felt like that today. I felt like I was on the ice, and you can look out into the crowd and see everybody cheering you on.
Yep.
And it was kind of cool. Like the goalie would occasionally have a breath, and then you'd see like the icy breath kind of come up. Like on the notion of the arcadey aspect of the game, I get a very Wii Sports
Mm-hmm.
vibe
Yeah.
to it. And, Wii Sports was what drove the Wii to such success.
Yeah.
Are you guys hoping to sort of capture that magic for VR as well?
We certainly are hoping for that. You know, sports is something that is so understandable by so many. You don't have to teach game rules. You know, put the puck in the net, put the basket in the hoop. Like these are things that everybody just kind of understands and gets. So I think that makes it so accessible to so many people. What we're hoping with this game is even reaching beyond the sports fan. Like I've had so many people at E3 come up to me and tell me that they don't even understand hockey, but they had fun with our game because it's just a fun VR experience. It's first person, the pucks are flying at you at 100 miles an hour, and you have that visceral fight or flight feeling of like, I'm either going to save this or get hit by it. So, yeah, but I will say too, like, I think we, while we certainly hope to even come close to emulating the success of Wii Sports. We also look at like something like NBA Jam, you know, old school, something that's just fun, pick up and play, but has that certain charm and has that arcadey feel that makes you want to keep coming back and playing. You know, from what I understand internally at Oculus right now with our demo, there's a huge high score battle going on between everybody. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to have with our game, is just foster competitiveness, foster fun, and put you in those moments that only a handful of people, you know, in the world get to experience.
Speaking of competitiveness, will the final game have a multiplayer component to it at all?
We're not talking about that yet, but it certainly would make sense.
Sure. I think you mentioned NBA Jam and you mentioned Wii Sports. I think a large part of the appeal of those games was that they were very multiplayer centric.
Yeah, they were.
Okay. So nothing to announce today, but you guys are considering it.
Definitely. Yeah. Same thing with the controller, the controllers, the haptic controllers. Like.
Okay. So that's not. I was going to ask you about that as well. You guys. Not
nothing to announce about it yet.
It would make sense, at least with the hockey game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with the hockey game, with anything that you're holding the ball and throwing, it would make sense.
And I've asked this of other developers, but with Oculus shipping out the controller and then the Oculus Touch controllers after that, are you worried about like sort of controller fragmentation at all? Or do you wish there was one standard, or is it a good thing, or is that like kind of like another obstacle?
I think from what I've seen of the controller, it's so unique and so intuitive that I don't think there's going to be any problem being a game for it. You know what I mean? There won't be a problem coming out with one version and then another version if that's the case, or patching it. I'm not sure what the strategy is for the game right now, but I do know like with VR Sports we're aiming to be a launch title for the regular Rift release, and then yes, the controllers seem to make sense for us to do as well.
Okay, I don't know, it's still a ways out, but do you guys have like a targeted price point or anything like that?
No, that's completely up to Oculus right now. I mean.
Oh, it's up to Oculus. So are you like an Oculus internal developer? How does that
No,
work?
we're a third-party developer. Sanzaru Games, we've been around for over 8 years. We've done Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time for Sony. We did a Wii title for Nintendo. We're finishing up Sonic for Sega for the 3DS right now, Sonic Boom. So we are a traditional console developer that after the Crescent Bay demo, saw the light.
That was okay.
Saw the light. It kind of.
So not even DK2 like that. The Crescent Bay, like okay.
DK2 didn't do it for us, honestly. Like
okay.
I mean, there was, it was interesting and it was cool, but it didn't have that promise. You know, we've been around. Most of us collectively been in the industry for over 20 years, and.
It wasn't the holodeck yet, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the holodeck. We've been burned so many times just buying into this is VR, and that was the moment. That Crescent Bay demo was the moment where it was like, oh my God, this is it. We got to get on this. Like I said, we're traditional console developers, And when the opportunity arose to work with Oculus, we grabbed the two games.
So you weren't. I mean, it is kind of risky, you know, because you guys, this is an unproven platform. You don't know what the adoption rate's going to be like. It might be slow burn. You know, who knows? But you guys are jumping straight into it. Was there any, fear or hesitation jumping onto a new platform like this?
No, because like I said, like I think we were so convinced,
Hmm.
one by one, because it's such a personal experience. You can tell somebody how awesome it was, but they don't know until they put it on and see how awesome the Oculus Rift is. Like, and so one by one, we were all convinced, and it was like we have to do this. So, no, there was no hesitation. I think the hesitation was like, we have to do this now because, everybody
To make a name for yourself in the space.
not necessarily. I think just because we found something that we believed in, and we wanted to support it, and we had this opportunity, but also because I think you'll see, especially after this E3, that more and more developers, more and more companies, more and more publishers will start exploring the VR space and start exploring the Oculus Rift, because it's just something that you don't have to know how to hold a controller to get. Like, you just put it on and look around.
So, I've been covering VR for some time, and I think today I just tried out the consumer version, and now more than ever, I'm convinced that VR is going to be like it's finally here.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that as well?
I think
Is it finally happening?
I want to believe. I don't want to get burned, but I think like with any, like, if we treat it as a regular game platform, once the games come, I think then we'll get there. So it's so new, and it's kind of like the Wild Wild West developing for this thing, because
Sure.
like we'll get these best practices, and then we'll put them to the test and go, well, that kind of holds us back. What if we just push this a little further,
Tweak that a
push
little
out the
bit.
boundaries, and then realize like, yeah, like
that works,
nobody
yeah.
really understands all the boundaries of VR.
There's no hard rules yet.
Not at all. So that's what's making it so much fun to develop for. And I think as we push out those boundaries and explore and see what works with a moving camera and what works in first person and what works in third person, the games will get better and better and better. We'll all learn from each other, and with the games will come the adoption.
Gotcha. This has been an amazing discussion, Teen, so I really appreciate your time.